Hi everyone, welcome back to Bald Dad Tries, where this bald dad tries to get back into triathlon, get as fast as possible, and with the goal of an Ironman someday. So today we're talking about why do a sprint triathlon? Why should we train for a sprint triathlon? So my experience was, first get sprint triathlons and then gradually working my way up to half Ironman. And I think what it really does is it helps you focus on the intensity of your workouts and trying to finish a race as fast as possible. So when you get to those higher level or higher distance races, they don't feel quite as intimidating. But that being said, the first reason why I would say do a sprint triathlon is to, well, make yourself faster. It's a sprint. It's supposed to be as fast as possible across all three disciplines. So, um, your training is going to be a lot more intense. It's going to have a lot more intervals, less aerobic. So that in itself is going to make you faster, or it should anyway. So the next reason why I feel like training for a sprint triathlon helps with the longer distances is that it helps make those slower paces at the long distance feel easier. When you're doing a sprint triathlon, you're pretty much going, 90% about as hard as you could go. And when you're bringing your threshold level up, that really is going to, for me, it always helped when I went to the longer distance, making everything feel just a lot more easy, a little bit more comfortable, and feeling like I could hold a certain pace for a longer amount of time. And that's the other thing too, is it builds that mental toughness as well. Going really digging deep and getting it. So another reason to get into sprint triathlons is to practice your transitions during a race. You can practice all you want at home. However, getting into the race situation where your anxiety level is high, there's people all around you, it's a whole nother thing. And working on those T1, T2 skills in and out of transition really helps with the sprint triathlon. It really helps to practice those skills and hone them in. So when you get to the half Ironman, you already have, you've done it a few times, you have a game plan, you know what to expect, and you can get out of there, out of transition with some free time. So another reason why I think the sprint tries are good too is that it helps break up the monotony of the constant just as bald dad doesn't have a lot of time to do long workouts. I can't go out every weekend and do a 2 3 hour workout. I just don't have that kind of time. So, any other parents out there, time crunched athletes, training for intensity is also going to help. And what you're doing when you're training in intensity is you're building up your FTP, your functional threshold power on the bike. You're building up your VO2 max. So you're able to get a lot more work in shorter amounts of time. You have to space things out appropriately. You have to plan, get the right nutrition, right rest. So another reason to get into sprints is, kind of touched on it a little bit, but it helps you find those new limits that you may not have known you could push through. So, think about, so it's a short sprint triathlon. Yes, it's short. However, if you're pushing as hard as you can, you should be as wiped out on a sprint as a half Ironman as well. If you're really pushing hard, that is. And I think what that'll do is help with that mental toughness when you get to the longer distances as well. And that's a big part of endurance sports is really mental toughness. And another reason to go back to why you don't have to do long workouts all the time, because you are accumulating fitness over time. 1 6 hour workout isn't going to push you over the limit or over the top to where you can finally finish that half Ironman. No, it's going to be the constant, consistent work that you put in, week out, improving your fitness. So whether you are getting back into triathlons and easing your way in, or if you're already a seasoned Ironman, sprint triathlons are where it's at for building your intensity and getting into a little bit better fitness. That's it for Bald Dad Tries this time, but I'll be back at you soon.